Hi, my loves. I'm Coach Naz, and in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about 5 signs that you are the red flag. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because we seldom look at ourselves and notice our own, red flags, our own patterns that we're falling back into because we're so consumed by looking at other people's red flags. He didn't do this, he didn't do, say this. And so this is exactly why I wanted to create this, because it's going to, I think when you focus on when you focus on your own red flags, life gets much easier. And that way you're not looking who to blame, and you yourself can take accountability for the people that are around you. So let's get into it. I made some notes, so this is why I'm going to be looking like that. So the first one is you are seeking validation. So let's say that, and by the way, I'm not going to lie, this is me sometimes, and something, this is where I have to do my work, right? It's like each of our souls have work that we need to do, and I'm human just like everybody else. And so this is something that I need to be aware of, or I'm really aware of it right now, which is when somebody, especially when a man compliments you, it's like you're so thirsty for like a man to tell you, oh my God, you're so beautiful, you're the most amazing, you have the most amazing smile when I'm with you, my world feels so beautiful, and the compliments that we usually get. But when we hear it, we just suddenly, go into this fantasy la la land. We're like, oh my God, like this is the one. And, I'm so special that he's only saying these things to me. No, he's not. That's not true. He's been saying this to a lot of different other women. So it's like different women. So it's like, this is where being logical comes in. And it's not to say that you have to be so serious when you're dating. You should have fun and enjoy, but this is where the journaling comes in. This is what I recommend to all of my clients whenever you're dating. Make sure you have a journal where you're writing down how this person is making you feel. Now, one thing that I want to let you know, which I have probably before, is that at the starting of dating, everything is perfect, guys. Unless, there's other stories where it's not so perfect at the very beginning, but majority of the times, especially when you're dating a narcissist, the first couple of months is like unreal. And this is where I'm sure, what is it called? The twin flames was a big thing, really popular. I don't know why I brought that up. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is that with a narcissist, I'm going to get into exactly what I'm talking about, but they are going to give you what you want. As a woman, we love compliments. The majority of us, okay? If it's not your love language, then that's really different. But majority of us love it when a man really sees us for who we are. And, it's really easy, honestly, to please a woman. I know it seems like it's really difficult. It really is not. Give us a couple compliments, you pay for some dinners, and there we are in bed with you. Okay. No, okay, that was a joke. Okay. So, so basically, the first one is validation of comp. Basically seeking validation. See, this is why I edit clips, because then I go into a different realm. Anyways. So whenever you're looking for compliments, it indicates that you have a little bit of insecurity within yourself. So this is one of the things I want you to be aware of as a woman and a man. It's usually men that compliment the woman, but there are women out there that will over compliment the man, which they have a little bit more masculinity in them, not just because they're complimenting, but just because some women are a little bit more masculine. Anyway, that's a whole different story. Now, the second thing that is a red flag within you is idolizing perfection, which means that, a lot of women that come to me, they say, I've met this man and he just seems so perfect and he has all these things going on for him. And then I ask them, more about them, and they just say, yeah, but like, I never thought that I'm in his, he was able to, or like I was able to attract this kind of man because he was just so amazing. And to me, it's like you've already put him above yourself, like high up there, right? And so sometimes what we are looking at during the time is just the external, how he looks, the money he makes. So he's able to pay for this, he's able to pay for that. We're not really noticing the core of the person, which is, how is this person going to handle my child? Like when I have a child, how are they going to be? And do not compare dogs and children. They're not the same thing. Unfortunately, children need a lot of patience, and patience that is not even human, to be honest. And so people come to me like, yeah, but he's great with my dog. And I'm like, okay, great. But like, you still don't know how he is with with a child. It's very different. So what I was trying to get into is basically, when we kind of, again, back into the fantasy world, we're looking for all these things in a man, but then we forget to ask him, like, what are your values? What are your standards? What does your life vision look like? And actually see them for who they are. Like, is this a kind human being? Are they gentle? Are they generous? Are they emotionally available to my needs? Like when I come to them with a problem or something that has triggered me, or something that I'm unsure about what they said, like, are they able to communicate and make me feel safe in the relationship? Or are they somebody that invalidates me and then criticizes me and blames me for how I feel? So just making sure that you're not, looking at the potential rather than what is in front of you. So this one is a huge one, a red flag, which majority of us women do have. Now the third one is inconsistency in our words and our actions. Yes, so we know that in a man, when we're dating a man, we know that we know this, but we seldom actually follow through. Well, we would like a man's actions match his words, right? But many of the times when I do work with my clients, I find that their own words don't match their actions. So they're telling me, hey, you know what? I'm looking for this. And then when I look at the person they're dating, I'm like, this doesn't add up. So it's like, what are we doing right now? And so this is where I'm saying is to understand your own self. What kind of person are you? And this is where in my program we get into this, the beliefs. What do you believe? What kind of person do you want to be? And a lot of the times we have just kind of created this identity based on what our parents look like, based on social media or on a TV show. Like, we don't truly know what our soul is saying to us half the time. So this is where, and also not even just words and actions in ourselves, but also another thing that I wanted to mention is, let's say you say to yourself, you know what, tomorrow morning I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. and I'm going to meditate, and then I'm going to eat really healthy. And when you don't follow up with those actions, when you make an excuse the next day, that is where your confidence goes down. And you might not notice it straight away, but little by little, when your words, you don't actually follow through with what you're saying, you're not committed to yourself. And that is when you then attract a lot of these narcissistic people, unfortunately. And another thing that I want to say, another thing about inconsistency is when, let's say you're dating somebody and he says, I want to take things really slow and I want to take my time, but then he's rushing to get intimate with you. How are the words matching? They're not matching. And so this is what I'm talking about with dating, is to really stop and breathe and watch what is happening in front of you instead of being in la giddy land. Now, the fourth one is lack of boundaries, right? So if you struggle to set boundaries, it can literally lead to some of the most unhealthiest relationships of your life. And basically, when you don't have boundaries, it allows your partner to push your limits. And majority of us women do this, because we have been brought up to be a good girl, be a nice girl, please, you have to sacrifice and all these kind of things, which is like the worst thing you could tell your daughter. Like, please do not ever tell this to your kids, because, it's just setting them up for failure, to get abused later down the line. Like, yes, you have to be a good human being. You have to have values. You have to be kind. All those kind of things are great. But you don't have to be nice. And that is why majority of us struggle to have boundaries, because we're trying to be nice so that the other person can really have their way. But this is literally going to lead you down a divorce, and it could even be abuse later down the line. Like, you don't know what could happen. And this is where my what would you call it, like, I do worry, to be honest. Like, a lot of my clients, some of them are not in healthy relationships, and it stresses me out sometimes, because I'm like, oh my God, I just want you to be so happy. I want you to be so healthy. I mean, it doesn't, keep me up at night, but I'm an empath, I worry about people, and I just want people to be the best version of themselves. And so the only way to create healthy boundaries with other people and yourself is to first start with yourself. Create boundaries with yourself. And if you're not unable to even keep your word to yourself, then you're going to have a really hard time to have boundaries with other people. So this is the fourth one. Now, the fifth one is ignoring red flags, which is basically this entire five list that I just created. So ignoring red flags is basically, recognizing that you have a tendency to overlook red flags. I think just being aware that you have a pattern of doing this is really big, because you're going to realize that the first couple of months is just the honeymoon phase. You don't know this person. I don't care how many hours you speak to them. I don't care how many vacations you take together. You don't know this person because you have not had difficult conversations. It's just dating, getting to know them. And so that's one thing. And also, the most important part of it, understanding how to not ignore a red flag is just to be aware of it, that you sometimes do this. And unfortunately, that has a lot to do with self-love. If you don't value and love yourself, you're going to tend to ignore a lot of the red flags, because you're looking, you're seeking, you're wanting. But as soon as you say, you know what, I don't give a shit if I'm single for the rest of my life. I'm happy with who I am. I'm living my purpose. I'm living my best life right now. That is the foundation of attracting your soulmate. But when you're constantly looking, needing, I need this from this person, I want this from this person, I need to be in a relationship, that is the formula for a disaster to happen, because your cup is empty. Right? So those are the five things that I wanted to mention today. If you guys liked any of the things I mentioned on the list, please comment that down below. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I did want to have this a little bit more structure in this video. If you guys had any more questions, or you want to know how to work with me, then please send me a message down below, and I'll see you guys in my next video.